All right, Unit 6 is all about transfer tax. The state of Texas does not have property transfer tax, but just in case it is covered on the national portion of your exam, we are going to do it anyways, just in case. Number 1 says a bank foreclosed property sold for $84,000 after being on the market for 6 months at an original list price of $122,000. What amount of the transfer tax is due if the tax is based on sales price at the rate of 45 cents per $500 or a fraction thereof? So if you came to class, remember I just said this or fraction thereof is just how they state it. You can just ignore that. The transfer tax is based on the sales price. A lot of these questions, you're going to have information you do not need. So all you're really worried about is the sales tax and the rate. And we are going to work it just like we do taxes. So the sales price is $84,000, and the rate is 45 cents per 500. So our first step is to divide this into $500 increments, which is 168, and the rate is 45 cents per 500. So now we need to multiply by 0.45 or 45 cents, and you get 75.60. So your answer is D. Number 2 says the Doles have a sales contract for their property. The executed sales price per the sales contract is $154. What will be the amount of transfer tax if the state requires 50 cents per 500 or fraction thereof and exempts transactions less than 100 or assumed mortgages? So this transaction is over $100, so we don't need to worry about that. It said nothing about assumed mortgages, so we're going to ignore that as well. So the sales price is $154,000, and the rate is 50 cents per 500. So we need to divide this into $500 increments. When you do that, that is 308, and multiply it by 50 cents or 0.5. So the transfer tax is $154. Your answer is D. Number 3 says real estate is being sold for $850,000 with the purchaser assuming the $565,000 unpaid balance of the seller's existing mortgage. So they are assuming the seller's mortgage. What is the state transfer tax if the tax rate is 50 cents for each 500 of the actual consideration less the amount of the assumed mortgage? So when it says less than the amount of assumed mortgage, that means that the part that is being assumed, the $565,000, does not have transfer tax applied to it. So we need to take the sales price of $850,000 and take away the portion that is being assumed, which was $565. That leaves $285,000 that is not being assumed, and this amount will be taxed. So it said the tax rate is 50 cents per 500. So we're going to treat this just like these problems up here. We're going to divide into $500 increments. And instead of going ahead and putting it in my calculator and getting this number and then multiplying, we can put that all together. And you will just type that into your calculator all together, and it works the same way. You'll get the same answer. So when you do that, that is $285. Your answer is A. The sales price of a house is $112,000. The seller is providing owner financing of 50% of the sales price over 5 years and an interest rate at 6%. What amount of state transfer tax stamps is required if, sorry guys, you can't see this, if the state transfer tax is 2% of this value of the property? We do not care about the owner financing. That does not matter. All we need to know is how much the transfer tax is. And we know that's 2% of the value of the property, and the value or the sales price is 112. So we just do 112,000 and find 2% of it by multiplying by 0.02. Remember, 2%, decimals right here, 1, 2. So when we do that, your answer is 2,240. Your answer is D. 5 says the state transfer tax is 30 cents for each $100 of the sales price. The county transfer rate is 50 cents for each 500 of the sales price, less the amount of any assumed mortgage. What is the total transfer tax required for a sale of $95,000? So we're going to have to find, it's asking for the total transfer tax, so we need to find state and county and then add them together. We know that the sales price is $95,000 and the state is 30 cents for each $100. So we're going to divide this into $100 increments and multiply by 30 cents, 0.3, and that will give us 285. This is for the state. Now let's find the county. The county still goes off the sales price. The county rate is 50 cents for each 500. So we're going to divide it into our $500 increments and multiply by 0.5. When you do that, that is $95. This was for county. All we need to do is add these together to get the total transfer tax. When you do that, that is $380. Your answer is D.